it's funny because you're gonna start seeing the same chicks that we're talking all this stuff when it comes to a man that they're attracted to. Now all of a sudden they're kind of acting the same way how simps do, right? Because we've all seen on the internet how there's this whole thing of men have to beg and they have to do this and that, but then behind closed doors with the man that they're really attracted to, they act the same way that simps do. They act very similar, and you're gonna kind of see how the dynamic truly is, how it really is, because it's kind of flip-flopped. It's kind of backwards how it is nowadays, the way that men and women act. And I'm gonna get into it. This is Tarik Talks. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me. So how does a simp act really? So let's take a look. How most men, a lot of them, not most, but a lot of them, they act kind of like females do. You know, and that's why a lot of times the dynamic is just doesn't work, because no matter how many people try to say that, hey, look, the gender roles don't matter and stuff like that, and there's no difference, there is a difference. And you'll quickly realize that when you deal with enough women, right? Because if you act more along the lines of how a female acts, then that attraction is not going to be there, and the roles are going to flip. So now you're going to start seeing the dude getting treated like, getting disrespected. This is where a lot of that disrespect comes in. This is where a lot of that, the guy gets taken for granted, all that good stuff. And this happens a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times when the guy, like I said, is acting like a simp, or he's acting more along the lines of a female. When he's the one acting more along the lines of a female. And what starts happening is that he's the one that's getting put on the back burner. He's the one that's kind of trying to go after her. He's the one trying to prove himself, supposedly. And you'll say a lot of times, a lot of men think that that's normal, think that that's what they're supposed to be doing. They think that that's how things go. They think that, hey, look, all that disrespect and, her playing hard to get and making him beg and crawl for the shit. They think that that's how it's supposed to go. They don't see anything wrong with that, because that's quite frankly how they were programmed. They were programmed to think that they need to have a hard time when it comes to attracting women. We know guys like this. We know a lot of guys that are like, oh yeah, man, it's hard and you got to work for it and all that good stuff. When in all reality, no, it's really not. Guys, fellas, let me tell you something. A lot of things that we programmed ourselves to think is hard, like getting women or getting, money, stuff like that. We programmed ourselves so hard to make it think that it's hard, that it's ingrained within a lot of us. But once you start seeing like, hey, look, when this chick is attracted, now it's like all that stuff I was doing, you kind of feel stupid for it. As a man, you kind of feel stupid for thinking that you need to do some kind of magic trick just to get this girl, right? But when a chick is really, really attracted, she's not going to be able to help herself. She's not going to be able to help herself. All that stuff she makes the average guy do, acting. Guys, let me tell y'all something real quick. Somewhere along the line, a chick that you knew, and this goes for me too, that was giving you just the hardest time, right? Everything was just kind of like friction and struggle, and you try to get her out, and she would just give you attitude all through the way, right? When you're with her, she kind of acts disinterested. You feel like you have to do all of the work. You feel like you got to do everything in the interaction. You feel like you got to do all the talking, all the carrying the whole interaction. And she's just sitting there. For that same chick that you encountered to some other guy, She was doing what you were doing for him. And once you find that out, it's like, at first, you'll be somewhat aggravated. You'll be like, dang, so I was wasting my time. Yeah, you kind of were. But if you're smart, you'll find that out, and you're like, okay, so now I know what to look for. Because that same chick that was giving you a hard time, that was making up all of these, you know, kind of obstacles for you and making everything hard, making the whole interaction feel very forced. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know the times where you've been with a chick and you know, everything, it seemed like everything was a problem for her, right? It seemed like she was just aggravated or irritated to be there. That same chick, for the guy that she was really, really attracted to, she was just a sweetheart. She was just the sweetest. She was an angel for this guy. She was calling him. She was telling him, I miss you. She was, you know, paying for him for stuff. She was wondering where he was at. And the main thing a lot of guys look for is that receptiveness from a woman. Because a lot of times the guys are the ones that are doing most of the receptive stuff. Like hitting her up constantly and just trying to force touching, force hugging, forcing kisses and stuff, you know, like just, and a chick is clearly disinterested. Well, with a guy that she's attracted to, it's the exact opposite. She's going to be the one that gets very close. You'll see that's the main thing. That's the main difference. That is the main difference between a guy that she's not attracted to and a guy that she is attracted to, is that wanting to be around him. That is the main difference. When a chick is with a guy that she wants to be around and she's attracted to, she's gonna be close. She's gonna be holding his hand. She's gonna be wanting to hold his hand in public. She's gonna want to kiss it, you know, wanting to kiss him. She's gonna want to be intimate. She's gonna want his kids, right? She's gonna want his kids. She's gonna want to be in his presence. That is the main thing. And a lot of guys, they don't realize that if a chick doesn't want to be in your presence, that's everything, right? If she doesn't want to share that time, that's everything. But like I said, most men in society, they do all of that. They do all of that, not realizing that, first of all, it's a twofold type of situation. First of all, the chick wasn't interested in him to begin with. And second, he's making it worse. He's making it worse because now the chick is going to be like, he's needy. That's how she's going to interpret it. That's how she's going to interpret it, like he's needy. And see, the thing about it is a lot of girls will not tell you. They won't tell you the secret that they prefer, that they want to be the one that's doing all that lovey-dovey stuff. They want to do all that cuddling and holding hands and all that type of shit. They want to do that. They're not going to admit that. They're not going to admit that because they're going to be like, oh, that's weak. Because, of course, you know, society has programmed a lot of chicks to reject their femininity. That's another subject. You know, they thought they were taught to be rough and tough and essentially act like a man does. You know, essentially act like how a man does. And like, oh, that's weak if you show emotion and stuff. When the whole time, that's what they want to do deep down inside. Because trust me, a chick that is truly attracted to you, she wants to do all of that stuff. She wants to hit you up. She wants to see what you're doing. It makes her feel good. Right? It makes her feel good when the guy that she's attracted to, when she hits him up first, he answers her. She's like, oh, he does like me. Right? But usually it's the guy doing that. It's the guy doing that. And I hope this is making sense. That's how the dynamic gets flipped around, because now the guy is looking for that reassurance. He's the one looking for that reassurance. Like, does she like me? Does she want to hang out with me? when in all reality, it's really the girl that be thinking that. Does he like me? Does he want to hang out with me? I'm telling you guys a secret that a lot of you guys, some of y'all never even really thought about it like that. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, when a chick is attracted to a dude, trust me, he's gonna be on her mind all the time. That's what she's gonna be thinking about. She's gonna be thinking about him all the time. And she's going to be wanting to hit him up all the time. She's going to want to be with him all the time, be around him. And, some guys are like, that's how a simp acts. No, that's really and truly, that's not how a simp acts. That's just how a woman that is caught up emotionally on a man acts. But when a man does all that type of stuff, yeah, it turns to being into a simp because it's just not natural for us. Hope this video helped. Peace.